right, so don't be shy. Have some questions over there. Otherwise, straight to the raffle. There's got to be some questions. Okay, there's an audience mic over in the middle right here. Right there. Yeah, just go. Yep.
You need to
walk up to the mic and ask your Android question.
I have to speak into the mic. Yes. Like a pirate loudly. Okay. Jake. Promises in Service Worker. Why the Promise API in particular?
Well, every API from now on in the DOM is, if it's async success failure, it's promises. That's it. Callbacks are dead for this stuff. Events are only valid if it's an event. You know, if you get multiple of them. So in some ways, things like image loads, yeah, that can happen many times on one object.
All right.
Everything is promises now.
Another service worker question. So you said about the traditional web cache that the problem there is that it competes with all the stuff on the web, basically, and that's why it's not effective. But why is that not going to happen to the service worker cache once everybody starts using it?
Yeah, at the moment, stuff in the service worker cache is only gone when you remove it. Like, it's reliable. There might be a permissioning step once you use a certain amount, like over your free quota. But what we want it to be kind of be the user's responsibility, especially if after they've given permission, to remove that stuff. Like, if you go to a website and it stores some stuff in the cache and that makes you run out of space, we don't want it to go and delete Netflix, the Netflix site, and all the movies that you've cached for your flight. So it's going to be like the same as native apps. We will promote this stuff in, here's the sites that are using the most disk space, which ones do you want to remove?
Okay. And one more thing, when you, it seems very easy to register to listen to push messages, but how do I actually push a message to your phone?
Yeah, so you'll get an ID and a URL in that object, and that URL will be where you send the messages to as your server, and that communication is going to be standardized as well. So there's going to be even if you get like an Apple one or a Firefox one, the way you send the messages, it will be standardized. You will have to have registered with that service in the same way that you do on Android and things. Thank you. Doesn't work with some pale skin, but yeah. So it's the same message but different endpoints.
Does anybody else have a question for Jake?
Yeah, actually not to Jake. What's the biggest thing standing in the way for Android performance and browser performance with garbage collection? Which browser?
I heard Android, I heard browser, I heard garbage.
Garbage collection. Garbage
hey, now.
Memory?
I'm just reporting what I heard.
Yeah.
What is the question?
What's the biggest things that's standing in the way of better performance on Android and also mobile web browser in Android? What are those things? Is it the VM doesn't manage SSD memory fast? Is it garbage collection? Is it caching? What's the biggest things that you can't fix or you're really stymieing?
Nothing's can't, right? It's all just software. So I would say the biggest advance that we've had recently is Art, which is now default. If you take a look at the L preview, Art is not only default, actually it's the only. So welcome to Art, which improves garbage collection greatly. Actually, we talked about it so much in depth on the Android Developers Backstage podcast that we went on to 2 episodes because we just kept talking and talking. So there's a lot of details about why and how that works. And how that improves garbage collection. There were a lot of things about Dalvik that were hampering performance for garbage collection, just how it was written from the beginning that we had a hard time working with. Art allowed us to get beyond those and allows garbage collection to work much better in general. Parallel garbage collection, being able to move very large objects like bitmaps off the regular heap so that everything else that's very small can be collected much more quickly. There's a lot of optimizations that we've been able to make with Art, and I think there's a lot more ground to be covered there as well.
Is it optimized for SSDs?
I can't answer that question.
I'll look it up. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. Okay.
Cool.
On the mobile web, it's late. We're suffering from paint, I'd say, but we're working on that as well.
Cool.
Hi, sorry, I'm showing up a bit late, so I don't know if this question's been asked
Should we go over the presentations again? There were just 4 of us.
Okay.
It'll take like 2 hours and we'll be done. All right.
As long as there's beer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I was wondering, I heard a talk a few days ago about how Instagram, they have part of their app was using WebView, and they switched from WebView back to native.
Yay.
And I was wondering, oh, sorry, maybe I shouldn't ask this, but I was wondering, how can we as developers plan for WebView evolving as well, because we can't always depend on like Chrome features or Firefox.
So we do have Chrome WebView. So that's the answer.
Ah, I see, but then we have to depend on Chrome being installed.
No. So Chrome WebView is a separate thing. It's basically a replacement for the old WebView. And you get all the benefits of Chrome, the platform. We're working on the self-update story as well. So that's been a big pain point for a lot of people. They're using WebView. So you're going to get new features faster. And we're still working out kind of the details of how that upgrade cycle is going to happen. But it's there. You can use it today.
I see. Oh, so it's decoupled from like the OS.
Right.
Oh, sorry. Thanks.
Yep. That was the big change.
Hi, I got a question about service workers. Yes, service workers. Woo! So I was wondering, is there any work being done to create a polyfill for service workers on unsupported browsers, or would that even be possible? Like, would it be possible to build service workers on top of app cache?
Because of the way the ordering of it is that it's more the other way around, that you can build app cache on top of service worker because it's the lower level thing with more freedom. We did actually build a polyfill, but it was a node server that acted as a proxy, and all the service worker stuff ran in the node environment. And that wasn't for, you can use it in production sites. It was just a means for us to test some stuff. Yeah, the polyfills are really going to live in terms of things like the cache API, which are hopefully going to go away soon. It'd be interesting to see if like the Chrome for iOS could patch some of this in with their network stack. That would be exciting, but it's not something we've looked into yet.
Okay. Thank you.
Just got a question similar to the somebody else was asking. Just more to encourage discussion amongst you guys and see what you guys thoughts are on the hybrid or mobile web versus native. And like, if we have all these APIs, HTML5 is opening up all these native functionality, push notification, batteries, so forth. It's bringing closer to the native application development environment. What will the future be? More HTML5 or a mixture? Because like Facebook's apps, I think it's some portions still run on web views, most of it is native. So what is the future looking like?
I lost the thread somewhere about halfway through. Were you looking for like a Rumble or like a group hug?
Both.
Okay. So I mean,
here, I'll do this.
like,
Okay. So the politically correct answer here is that we are in an increasingly device-heavy and mobile world. And as users want to experience your content on these devices, they expect them to have some of the similar capabilities that are presented on the devices themselves. So if you expect that your platform is going to continue to be relevant on these devices, you would expect that more of the device-specific interfaces are going to be exposed over time. This is sort of the conundrum that most of us sit in here as someone kind of trying to bridge both worlds in this kind of argument. As a developer, you have to ask yourself where you're investing your source code, right? Because that's the big thing. Do you write everything in HTML5? Do you write it in Java? Do you write it in C++? Which you should be writing everything in C++, because I expect it.
Only games.
Yes. But the truth is that, in an increasingly mobile world, you should expect that the web should want to adapt to that environment, because that's what users are, kind of immersed in right now. And for things to stay relevant and things to move forward, you have to expose APIs in such a way that, users can get attachment to that. That keeps Chet from saying bad things, and I hope that keeps Jake from saying bad things as well.
Let me try some positive things as well. So I think both platforms are advancing on various fronts, right? We're making performance better both on the web and native, and that's good. And if you just take a longer term view, I think, there shouldn't be that difference. You should be able to build a really fast and nice and fluid web app and a native app. That shouldn't be the difference. And the users don't care, right, if the experience is good. Then it really becomes a question about what is the thing that I'm trying to deliver. So for example, the web really excels at these like ephemeral experiences where I don't need to commit to installing a thing and like going through a complicated opt-in process and checkboxes. Like, I just want to check if the ticket's available for this freaking concert, right? Like, I don't need an app for that. That's a perfect use case for something like the web. Should that feel like an app? Like, that should make a difference, right? So there's like, the context is what matters there. And I think we'll find that that's where we're going to be headed increasingly.
Yeah. So I'll just add one final point, which is again, the context matters. It depends on what your application is trying to do. If it's a migration story from the web, that's a great place to start. If it's a really simple application, or the UI that you are going for ties in really closely with the way you want to look on the web, that's a great reason too. If it's a really complicated app and you want the greatest performance and you want it to look like the rest of the things on the native device, that's the point at which you start considering native as the real way to go, because these are still constrained devices, right? You have limited battery, you have limited power, you have limited performance, and you need to do the right thing for your application so that it works well for the user in that situation, not so that it works well for the developer that didn't want to spend as much time developing the application that worked well, it worked okay everywhere. So do the thing that works well for the platforms that you're trying to target.
But in terms of developers spending time, right, it's going to take you a lot more time to do an iOS app and an Android app than it's going to do to build one thing on the web. And then you've got desktop
Actually, if
as
you
well.
use C++, you can get it on both platforms.
You can look awful everywhere with C++. Is that I think that's what he was trying to say. No, absolutely. That's exactly the point, is that I think the web as a solution for everywhere is sort of the thing that you would think of first and say, well, if I write it in this, then it's basically the same code everywhere. But is it the right experience everywhere, right? And for some applications, absolutely. For other applications, there's more going on, or there's reasons that you want to target native capabilities or whatever. And then that's the point at which you want to say, well, you know, is that the right solution, or is there a mix of solutions? So we have a Chrome view, and we have some native components, or we have all native components or all web view, whatever.
Yeah, what the web needs to do is to get to a point where the difference in performance doesn't matter, right? Because this is why we see things like Encarta not happening anymore. You know, we see things like Cinemania not happening anymore, and having a native email client, a lot of people don't anymore, because although native can always beat the web in terms of performance, that performance difference doesn't matter as much. So mobiles, this is why we see, well, like I was saying in my talk, this is why we see much native ruling on mobile, because that difference is too great at the moment. But we're fixing it.
Cool, thanks. Also C++.
All right. Are there any other questions?
For Jake.
Quick.
I have no questions for Jake. I have a question for Ilya, actually 2 questions. From your accent, I detect that you're probably not from around these parts. Where are you from originally? Chico?
That's it. That's what I'm going with.
No, really. Well, I was going to ask you, I think we all anticipated you would speak like a pirate in the argot of your country of origin. Is that possible? Are you from the U.S.?
No. Chico.
You're from Chico, which is not in the U.S.?
No. I think I need a drink now.
I've already had enough drink. It's okay. No pirates?
No, no pirates.
Come on.
Hard C++ question. When Chromium will migrate to C++ 11?
You mean at the source code level, like Chromium?
Yep.
Does that matter to you? Yeah, is that like a big thing to how you're? So I'm guessing from that question that you're writing some sort of plugins or interfaces or working with Chrome as a fork to roll it out.
Is it a religious thing?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out. Like if you're writing web apps, you don't care what's running under the hood. If you're writing mobile apps, maybe, but like if you're writing plugins, you should be using Knackle.
It's just a question of a good taste. You know, C++ makes C++11 makes C++ code more, say, readable.
So I'm going to say that a lot of programmers have a lot of opinions.
No, they do not.
And I think if you can look at the crew up here and realize that a lot of opinions are personal, and then a lot of opinions are political, and a lot of opinions are handed down.
Wrong.
Shut up. Stow your noise. And so, like, you know, trying to hypothesize on whether or not a very successful piece of software is going to migrate to a minor change or even a major change in a language for the sake simply of changing to it is a lot of readability and a lot of rework and a lot of people and a lot of time and a lot of open source systems that have to move around. Is it impossible? No, but there's a lot of decisions and a lot of preferences and a lot of politics and a lot of people between where we are today and where that decision might lie.
So the answer is you don't know.
Yar.
So a good place to ask that same question would be Blink Dev. Yeah. So if you just go to the group, I'd encourage you to just go there and ask that same question. Okay, well, so that is the right group of people, right? Certainly, one of the big motivations behind starting Blink as a project to begin with was to be able to kind of decouple and fix a lot of things, do cleanup and all the rest. There's ongoing projects. Just today, I was reading a new proposal for doing a ton of cleanup in a render stack. So, you know, there's initiatives like that. Does that mean that your particular flavor will be fixed tomorrow? I don't know. WebKit has migrated already. Good.
Never heard of it.
Never heard of it. Do they have Service Worker?
No.
All right. Well, thanks for all the questions. We want to have a big round of applause for all 4 speakers. All right, we're going to take a couple pictures, and then we're going to go on to the raffle.
So I want to make sure that we thank everyone properly, by the way, for, this one's mine, fantastic. Guess what I'm doing tonight? So I want to make sure that we thank the speakers properly and thank all of you here for being here tonight. So I think we should go for one more round of our Perf Matters to Me song. What do you think? Yeah. You think we can do that?
Do it.
All right. Come on, speakers. You skipped out on the last one. Get up here this time.
Yeah.
AV crew, can we get some of the AV crew here? Singing while drinking, yes.
Singing this again is not a good way to...
Now,
All hands on deck.
Everyone here is going to sing too again, right? Yeah! Oh, come on, it's not too late. You start drinking at midnight. Yar! 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 All right, here we go, you lily lover Bill Drats. I want to hear you all the way back in the mainland. Oh, Perf matters to me. Yo, ho, ho, Perf matters to me. Profile we think, we fix and we test. Perf matters to me on it, yo, ho. We never give up and we will rest. Perf matters to me on it, yo, ho. Yo, ho, Perf matters to me. Lovers! Be over a web. We all be one room. Drink up me on it, yo, ho. We really mad and strangers up room. Drink up me on it, yo, ho. Yo, ho, ho. Perf matters to me. Yo, ho, ho. Perf matters to me. When you're at peace, you're body and man. Drink up me hard, yo, ho. When users believe and never be glad. Drink up me on it, yo, ho. Profile your app and fix it up right. Perf matters me hard, yo, ho. Never a sword without a
right, it's been a fantastic event on the live stream. Thank you, everyone. This is a fantastic Perf Like a Pirate Day. We'll see you next year.